Hey, food friend, and welcome to the Food Founders Podcast. Today, I am chatting with Sandrew from Neeva
Hey,
Super
Ashley.
Cereal, and super excited to have you here. Hey, Sandrew, how you doing?
I'm good. I am good. I am ready to chat all things Neeva because you're probably one of the first people that I ever even told the idea to. So it's interesting to chat again.
So, talk to everyone. Let everyone know what is Neeva, and then I'm curious. I know your story, but please share with everyone how you landed on this great idea for it.
Okay. Neeva, we changed the name from Super Cereal to Shaker Cereal. So essentially, it's a high protein cereal in a single serving format. And the idea is that you actually throw it in a shaker cup, shake it, and then drink it on your way to work, in the office, whatever. It's just like high protein cereal to go format. And we're the only ones really doing it in a single serve. Like everyone's healthy boxes of cereal exist, Magic Spoon and all that stuff. But we wanted to make the shaker the new avenue that you get to use this for. And so my story is my wife and I own two gyms. We own two F45 studios in Saskatoon. And so we had this endless stream of members just always asking us, I don't get enough protein in. I'm intimidated to go into supplement stores. I'm barely getting to work on time with my kids drop off. And so we just started playing around with ideas of what can we do as gym owners to just help our members. We didn't set out to start a business or anything. And so once we were brainstorming, I just had this idea of healthy cereal because it just feels so unintimidating, bright colors and mascots. And we're just like, what if we just took like really well-made, organic, low sugar cereal? We find the highest quality protein powder that we can, and we mix the two, and we provide our members with this single serve format. And so we went super ghetto with it. We like ordered see-through bags on Amazon. We gave it out to members and they loved it, and they asked to pre-order it the next day. And we're like, no, this is a one-time thing. We just want to, this isn't a business yet. My pregnant ass wife was sitting at the counter pouring it into bags, and we got really good feedback on it. And then so it was like, oh crap, this is maybe a cool kind of idea and concept. And I still thought it was like too simple and it wouldn't go anywhere just because it felt so, I don't know. I thought a business had to be complex and it felt so simple. And that's when I started reaching out to people in your category of like consultants in this area, because I was like, it's a cool idea. I don't know how to execute it. I don't know how to test it. But it really just started like we didn't set out to start a company. We just were playing around with the things that we had, and we just lucked out and got some good feedback.
I love this because I find like so many great stories. It doesn't start out like, I'm going to try to do this business and this is my plan. It's just,
Oh,
hey, let's see what I put out there. You get this great feedback and you're like, oh, maybe there's something here. That's very much what happened here.
totally. Yeah. And it was like weird little things of like, a trainer would see me put granola into my protein shakes just because I didn't like the full stomach of just liquid. And they're like, oh, that's a cool idea. Like some crunch to your protein shake. And like that small little sentence was enough to be like, oh, like maybe other people are interested in something like that. So yeah, it felt very, I don't know if unprofessional is the right word, but it just didn't feel like this like entrepreneurial, like carving our own way story. And it still doesn't. Like it still feels like a dude who has no idea what he's doing, just like trying to make cereal a little bit more fun and different.
We've definitely figured it out in a lot of ways though. And you like took some steps to make it happen. I'm super curious. A lot of people had these great ideas, but they're
Yeah.
already, like you said, you and your wife own two gyms. Your wife
Yeah.
is pregnant, you guys are expecting your first child, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, let's just see if we can do this." A lot of people would be
Yes.
like, "No, that's crazy." What was it that was it the idea that made you guys be like, "No, let's keep pushing here?" Or what was it that got you to, like, push with it still?
Honestly, and I was working full time at that point anyway, too. So I had a
Yeah.
full time job as well. I think if we approached it like this is going to be a business, this is going to be bringing in revenue, we probably would have been like, we're too busy. But it just felt like this like side little like project thing. And I know we briefly talked before, but like when you have a small baby, like it's hectic and you're not sleeping, but you have these 3 hour chunks where you're not working because you're on pat leave, and I got to take some time off of work. And so I had some time in the day where you're like, you're too drained to go out and do things, but not drained enough to sit at your computer and muck around. So it honestly just felt so not real that we didn't think anything of it. And your like the investment for your services was the first like, Megs, do we want to like, it's not cheap. Do we want to go down this path? And even at that point, it was like, if we do this and decide not to go forward with it, then great. Then we got to see where it led. But it never felt like this risk it all or nothing, add another thing to our schedule. It was just very, and I think once I started talking to you about it and getting members from the gym like feedback, you just get excited about it. You're like, oh crap, like this might actually end up being something fun. And so we just picked apart day by day. Yeah, it just, I think if we had been like, this is our next venture, we would have been too scared to do anything. But it just felt so chill that we just plucked at it day by day.
I love that. He didn't put too much pressure, and I always appreciated, like, from day one when we were working together, you were also just, "Hey, if we do all this and realize there's nothing here, cool. Then we
Yeah,
realize there's nothing here." That is a great investment versus, like, the what ifs that so many people live with in life.
totally. And like it changed, like we changed the name, we changed, but the core idea stayed similar of take this thing that people already do of mixing their protein powder with new ingredients, new recipes and stuff. And we just ran with it. And then we started launching and then we started doing well on online sales and then retailers were interested. And so like it snowballed before we were ready. But at every step of the way, I still to this day, like tell myself, like, let's just see how far we can get with this. Like to this day, it's still, okay, I don't know if this is going to come crashing down next month, but let's see if I can get into an incubator. Okay, I can. Let's see if I can get an audition for Dragon's Den. Okay, I can. And so it's just every time I'm like, let's just see how far this thing lets me get in terms of experiences.
It's a really cool mindset to have. So I'm curious,
Thanks.
you're not doing the day job anymore. You've got the 2 F-45s and Nevo. What got you to, like, take the leap to be like, "Hey, not gonna do the day job anymore. I'm just focusing in on these pieces."
So I don't know if it actually had much related with Neva, a little bit. So at that point, I was coming back to work full time. The gyms were getting extremely hectic because it was January and we had January is always busy for gyms and it's always when our trainers are going back to work. So it was like this weird season of I need to be there more. And the company that I was working for at the time when I was hired, it was a remote work setting. It was a software company. And so I was very upfront when I got hired, like, I have these two businesses. They have to be my priority. I might not put a full 8-hour day in, but I will get more done in 6 hours because I know I only have that time frame. And that was okay when I first started. And then near the end, it was transitioning to, if you can get this done in 6 hours, what can you get done in 8 hours? Why aren't you putting another hour in? And so I just started to realize that if I continued down this path where they expected more than what I could give, at some point I was going to be sitting in my manager's office and her saying, "You're not giving your full potential." I'm like, I know, I told you when I got hired that I wouldn't be able to. And I didn't want to go out on those terms. I didn't want to sit in that position. And Neva it was nowhere near like if I had just left for Neva, it would have been a bad call. But it was kind of that exciting of like, okay, I have to be at the gyms full time anyway. The gyms are interesting because you work really early in the morning, you work really late at night. But this middle of the day, because it's class based, you're not really open. So you don't really have that much, not that you don't have much to do, you're just not physically there. And so like that gives me time to
Mm.
play around with this thing and see what can happen from it. So it more so the job was left because I knew they needed something. They needed to fill that role with someone who's fully there and I can do that. And I didn't want to leave the company like in a bad taste in anyone's mouth. But on the other hand, it was like this new business that was like, it's exciting and that let's just see what we can do.
That's a lot of integrity there, though. You're like, "Okay, you've been very upfront and having a lot of integrity to just wanna leave how you wanna leave, and
And I
not
think it
burn any
sounds
bridges."
better like when I tell the story. In reality, I was scared shitless of I'm not going to be able to run at this level. And the integrity thing was afterwards. Oh, wow. Like they really appreciated that. And it was left on really good terms. And I still have conversations with the manager at that time. But the funny thing is, after I left, 3 months later, that company shut down the entire basically division.
Oh.
And so like everyone that I was working with either got laid off, found another job, or moved to a complete different department. So it was kind of like, I don't know if God was just like weaving, like, there's something here, just go this way. But it was an interesting thing. I ran into another guy I worked with and he said, "Oh, by the way, the people you worked with aren't there anymore." I was like,
You're like, "Oh,
cool.
okay, that kinda worked out then, whatever."
We'll stick with cereal. Sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Cereal's a good route. Cereal's a good
Yeah.
route.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you mentioned that I know when you first brought this to life, you were doing DTC, that was doing
Yeah.
well, obviously in the gym. Talk to me about like where you're selling and
Yeah.
where you're seeing traction because it's a unique type of product. Everyone knows cereal,
Yeah.
everyone knows protein powder. Like it's like a no-brainer. I remember us talking about this. It's like a no-brainer. No one's done this like this. Grab it before
Yeah.
someone else does. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that is when I started this, everyone that I told and talked about this was like, this idea is too simple. Like people can do this themselves. They're not going to pay $3.99 for a pack. The next competitor is just going to come out and do this. And I think that was a big hesitancy of it does feel like too simple of an idea. And I still have that reservation of I have distributors being like, it's too simple. We're not interested. And my mindset kind of switched to like, why don't I just find enough people who like the simplicity of it and who want to buy it for that convenient factor to the point where a distributor or a grocery store will be like, okay, we think this guy's dumb. It's too simple, but we have people asking for it. So we might as well bring it in. So that's the switch that happened of I would say like the higher ups and like the retailers and stuff were a little bit more hesitant because it is essentially just me pre-mixing protein powder, cereal, and flavoring. Now, our argument is we find the best cereal, we find the best protein powder. We give you a variety of flavors that if you wanted to do that, you'd need 12 tubs of protein, so we started essentially on direct consumer and the gyms were by far the biggest because it's our members. They know me and Megan. They want to support us by far. They were the biggest purchaser for probably the first 2 months. So we chatted probably September, October, 2022. We launched it in the gym on January 8th was the first day that it was available. And so for the first 2 months, it was very stuck there. And then we started slowly getting to like supplement stores. So like our local Hertz, our local supplement world, the guy who owns the supplement world, they're expanding across Canada. So he introduced to a couple other owners and it just started picking up traction there. And that was our first, okay, like maybe some retailers would be interested. And it seems to be moving well in the supplement store space. And then probably in July or August, we reached out to a mom influencer, like 4,000 followers, not like you think you need, like the 20, like 4,000. She really loved the product. Her sister was a trainer at the gym. And so we just said, like, why don't we make like a custom bundle? Like you pick your favorite flavors and we can let your followers just instead of buying Neeva themselves, they can just buy your bundle. And so I made a quick website for her, landing page for her. And I think she launched and the next day we had 150 orders. And it was like, oh my goodness, what the heck is happening? So that was my like, okay, this is all we're doing now. And so I just started reaching out to to influencer moms. It wasn't even like young, fit women in the gym recording their workouts who I thought it would be. It was just moms. And they got their community so riled up. So I think let's say in July, our sales were $4,000. Of that, half of that was from the gyms. We jumped to 12,000 the next month and it was just all online, people getting their friends to buy. And since then, it's just been a steady climb up. But it really, like that mom influencer really, really changed the way we thought about it of like, instead of just giving people a discount code, let's let them own like their sale. Let's let them create. If we have 7 flavors, how many of each flavor do you want? Which flavor do you hate? Don't even include it. And we found that rather than them just posting once, they would post every 2 days because they're like, this is my bundle. This is what I buy and use every day. And it just started getting crazy. And so we still do that. Like if there's someone interested and they want to collaborate, we send them 1 pack. We let them try it. We see if their followers are interested and then we go down this road.
Very cool. I love that approach. That is really cool.
Yeah. It was so like, we'll try it. We'll see what happens. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my goodness, this is insane. But then now we're starting to move a little bit more towards looking at traditional retail, like Sobeys, like grocery stores. Because when we started, I know me and you talked a lot about, we thought the customer would be the gym user. I thought that the person who's in the gym 5 days a week, who's used to drinking protein shakes, that would be who uses this. And what we're finding now is that customer, they already have a lot of solutions to that convenience and protein problem. They're okay chugging protein in water. It's not a big deal for them. They're so used to doing it already. But when we started getting these, like I call them Instagram moms, women between the age of 35 to 45, their kids are like 7 or 8. They're just getting back into fitness. They're going bananas over this. And I think it's because they're buying snacks for their kids all day long. They don't get to enjoy any of the fun, healthy foods. And so there was just this moment of I can eat the same thing that my kid's eating, but it's more of an adult version for me and it's on the go. And it's not as chalky or protein tasting as a lot of the other products. So we found our consumer by chance. And then we started realizing like that customer doesn't go to supplement stores. Like they're not in whatever supplement store it is because they're not that customer. And that was our first, oh, we might actually do well in a grocery store. And that's where we're heading now. We still are available in supplement stores. I think it's in 80 across Canada right now. So there is still available, but it's not what we're targeting anymore.
Interesting. You're so open to taking the consumer feedback and running with it always, which is really great.
I think part of it stems from, I don't know what I'm doing. And so anytime you get feedback, like, oh, this is working, let's like dive into that. And so I think even when we approached it, I was like, I'm not so tied to this idea that I feel like the name has to be this or anything like that. And now it's just seeing what happens. It's gotten to the point where if someone follows Neeva on Instagram and I go to their page and it says Ainsley, mama to Jackson, dog mom, wine lover. I'm like, this person's buying in the next 20 minutes. Like that is the customer. And now all I had to do was like, let's find more people like that because I don't have to convince them that this product is awesome. For someone like I spoke with someone from Healthy Planet and they're like, I don't get it. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't have to convince you that it's a cool product. And so we just want to focus on people who, I don't know, get it, I guess.
That makes sense though. And your audience so well right now. That's great. You can look at them and be like, you are going to buy this. You get this problem.
Yeah.
There's enough people. You don't need to convince every single person. You can be super clear.
No, totally. And I still have people tell me like, it's too simple. You should do this. And I think at times your insecurity is like, oh yeah, we should. There's this other brand that's doing it really well. But then I'm like, if we went to a very magic spoon, very protein, no carb, would it keep people as full? Moms don't need 30 grams of protein. They just need to feel like they ate a good breakfast and they're not hungry again till lunch. And so maybe the simplicity of it is just easy. I don't know, but it's just finding like, these are the customers that are using it. Why don't we ask them what they want rather than asking other supplement companies what they do?
That's a great approach to it. Absolutely. The customer is always right. And in terms of simplicity, people buy like bagged carrots. You can just buy a carrot, peel it and chop it. There are simple products everywhere.
Totally. That's the way that I think about my diet, like sliced pineapple exists.
Exactly.
And it's like 10x the price. And essentially what we do is, and I like broke down the numbers too. It's funny. If you get a really good low sugar organic cereal, which isn't cheap, and you get a really good low, high protein, clean protein base, you're going to make a pack. You're going to pre-organize your pack for about $3.25. I don't need to sell you a $3.99 product. I need to sell you the difference. Is your time worth, and is your time and the amount of flavors that we can offer you worth 60 cents? Mm-hmm. And most people be like, yeah, it is. And so once you flip it, you're like, oh, it's not that we're charging expensive for this product. I'm actually selling you convenience for 50 cents. That's less than your coffee. And that really, once we made that mindset, okay, let's just see how far we can take this.
You have some really great mindset pieces that I don't know if you've had to cultivate them over time or if it's just you. But in terms of those two pieces that really stand out and they've stood out from as long as I've known you, Bill. Number one, let's just you have fun with business. Okay, let's see where it goes. Let's just see what happens. And maybe this will work. Maybe this won't, but let's try it. And then you also have this piece of quick action. From the time we first connected, from when you got your first pallet and started selling in Jan, that's 4 months. When I told you, I was like, Sandrew, this is amazing. You are someone who runs with things. Both of those traits, I think, have built into the success of what you're doing and where you're continuing to go. Those just natural pieces for you, or have you had to build them over time?
And honestly, it's not even, that's 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, I'm sitting downstairs going like, this is going to fail tomorrow. There's no chance this works. I sold out of flavors for a month. And the only reason I sold out is because I was too scared to order another run of packaging. Yes, there's this like mindset of this is fun and this is great. Other half of the time, you're like, there's no chance this works. I'm not the right person to do this. So I think you caught me on a good day. Yeah, we got this. That's fun. But honestly, I think, from talking to any person who goes through this, like, no, maybe not even entrepreneurship, but like creativity of like even anyone who does art or who writes book, like there is this like delusion that you're the person who can do it. And also this self-hatred of there's no chance that I can. And it's that balancing act of I want to have fun with it. And there are times where I'm like, I cannot believe that I brought this idea to you a year and a half ago. And last week I was pitching it to Arlene. Like that to me, that's insane. How did this happen? And then the other time is just like the next day I pitched it to Arlene. I was on top of the world. The next day I was like, what do I do if like sales just stop? Right. So I think it's a constant battle. And I think it's knowing that both are okay. Like being the down is okay. And what can you do to just move forward? I think the quick action in the beginning was maybe delusion. We got to do it now and let's go. And now it's a little bit more like methodical of when should we release flavors? How often should we incorporate new product offerings? But I think at the end of the day, like my wife is the biggest, I don't know if realist is the right word, but if I'm having a panic attack, she'll be like, dude, if anything, this thing made more money for us. Like this thing covered any losses that the gym might have had this month. And that's okay. You don't need to be everywhere and make $1 million this year. If you just help our family with some income, that's fine. Mm-hmm. And once you start approaching it, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And it just seems less scary.
That's a great way to look at it. And it's nice to also have that balance in the home of having Meg being so supportive of it all and helping you level out.
Totally. And I don't want anyone to listen to like, oh, his mindset is like, great. No, like it is as much like fear and what the heck am I doing as it is, this is fun and I can't believe it. So I think it's just that constant like tug of war of like, where am I at today? And on the days that you're feeling great, what are the big things that you can do because you have the confidence? And the days that you're feeling low, what are the minimum things that you can do to just move the dial ever so slightly?
That's really sage. Yeah. Really sage advice there. Okay. So I want to go back to the influencer piece, doing the mom influencer piece. And you know very much who your audience is. Is that the main marketing channel continuing moving forward? Or are you guys branching out into other forms of marketing to be able to get more people? Or are you like, hey, this works. I'm like just doubling down on this and that is it?
I find with the influencers, they have a limited life that they're bringing in crazy sales, right? Mm-hmm. So the first month it's 150, the next month it's 25, then it's 5, then it's 2. Because their audience, like there's not as many new people who are coming. Now, each time you do a big sale, on average, we have a 40% customer retention rate. So every time that you get new people, about half of them are going to come back and buy again. That initial wave slows down. So it's a lot of work just continuing to find new people who want to promote. And typically, if you're finding people who have never used the product, you get a lot of ghosts. So here, try some samples, and then they never get back to you. Where it's better to find customers who are already buying, who are maybe like, I reached out to a customer who had like 800 followers, but she had ordered 6 times. And I'm like, I'll send you some free samples. Do you just want to tell your friends about it? And she brought in a lot of sales too. So the influencer, I think it is definitely, it's not a find the 1 or 2 and sit back and watch the money come in, because they get reached out to 20 times a day with different discount codes and stuff. And so their business is marketing businesses. It's not marketing yours. It's continually finding new ones. We're starting to put some good money into ads and stuff and coming up with creative ways to drive not necessarily sales, but traffic. So this month we're doing because the packs are small enough to ship, we're doing a just pay postage. Mm-hmm. So we're giving you a free pack. It's $0. You just cover the costs of the stamp. And I think so far we're at 200, and we launched it at beginning of February. So it's an investment. It costs me money because I have to send them a free pack. But the hope is, okay, if we can give them a bit of a discount on their first order, how many of them are actually going to become customers? So I think it's just finding interesting, fun ways to market. I think going down like the trendy TikTok stuff is something we haven't really dug into. And it's a little bit of a different product. So I think that would be a cool, I could see it being very TikTok-y, like, something different, but it's not something that we've done extensively, mainly because I'm pretty much 30 and I don't understand TikTok. But that's another one. Those are the main direct to consumer ones. Now it really is just like, how do I get retail stores excited? Like, how
Right.
do I get the 56-year-old Sobeys manager who's never seen a shaker cup to be like, oh, this product is awesome. That's more the new marketing of like, the online and social and Instagram people will find you. But if you have to convince someone who the product wasn't made for that their shoppers will like it, it's a little bit more challenging.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think your online efforts, though, are going to really help that. You'll be able to take that and be like, hey,
Yeah.
people are loving this online coming here. And you found like a 40% retention rate
Yeah.
is great. Like people who are buying
Yeah.
it are loving it. So like the free product makes so much sense to give it
Exactly.
away. You know what I mean? Give it away. If 40%
100%.
of people are coming back. And for your retail partners too, that's a great piece of feedback for them too. It's not like a, hey, I tried this product once and like I'm maybe not going to come back. Like you're in the same grocery store every single week. Like you want them to have items that are going to be incremental, which this is, and then they're going to replenish it week after week.
Totally. Let me give you the November stats. Something I heard or I read in a book, I don't remember where I saw it, but it was like, if you're in a CPG space, you want weekly purchase, daily use.
Mm,
And that was a really cool factor of like, this is a very much daily use because we all grew up eating cereal every day. And so like eating a Neeva pack every day doesn't feel, I don't know what the right wording is, but it doesn't feel excessive because we ate cereal every day, and eating a protein shake every day doesn't feel weird. Whereas even a bag of Smart Sweets, which maybe doesn't have sugar, I'm not going to eat a bag of candy every day. And that brand was able to grow extensively. So obviously they'd figured out a way around it, but there is a usage case to this product is being used frequently. It's convenient and tasty enough that people are using it day in, day out. And so the retention rate just seems to be relatively high for our online consumers.
yeah, that makes sense. And that is a good way to look at it. And if you can get people, they just need to try it and they realize they're going to use this on a regular basis. And the
Totally.
buyers, they might take a little bit of time to come around, but you've got the data and the product to stand behind it. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing you in more retailers soon. And I know you just
I hope
pitched.
so.
Also, you did an audition for Dragon's Den. So
I
hopefully
did.
we'll be seeing you on. Talk to us about what was that experience like for you?
Okay. The venture park cohort accelerator that I did was founded by Arlene. So the entire thing is you are aware that someone on Dragon's Den worked on the criteria that you're learning. So then when I saw that they had auditions, I was like, with the gyms, I can be very, I like to say, I can put on my Beyonce. I can be very like, yeah, let's go. Burpees, 5 a.m. Whoa. And so I was like, I feel like I could audition well just because I can do that. So I literally like in our gyms, like put on a tripod, recorded myself of like, dragons, are you tired of not eating sugar? Like very cringy, and it sucked. And I submitted it. And then I got an audition, and it was a Zoom audition. And so they send you a couple things to get you ready. They tell you it's a 30-minute audition and that you do a pitch, just like you're pretending to do it in front of the dragons. And then they ask questions. But they didn't tell me how long my pitch was. So it was like 5 minutes. I had a 5 minute, like solid, pre-planned, good to go. And then we got on the call and they're like, okay, you have 2 minutes. And I was like, how do you cut this in half? And I haven't even had time to prepare it. So you kind of wing it. And luckily I had practiced it, I don't know, 20,000 times. So you can do it. And then they just ask questions. And some of the questions are easy. How did you come up with the story? Who's the customer? Blah, blah, blah. Some of them are like, why do you think you're special enough to make this brand blow up? And you're like, I'm not. I don't know. This product is so simple. What's stopping you from having someone steal it? You only invested whatever $1,000 into this. How can you ask the dragons for 100,000? So all of a sudden they're trying to, I think obviously just see how you respond to stuff, but you leave that and you're like, I have no idea. I don't know if I did good. I don't know if I did bad. They asked for samples. So that's about as far good as I can get. They asked me to ship them samples, which I did, but it's again, it's back to that thing of we spoke a year and a half ago and I told you this idea. I even showed you like the clear plastic bag of this. I don't know what's going to come of this. Let's just see. And now I'm like, this was interesting enough to get an audition on a show that's watched by a lot of people and that some of the very successful entrepreneurs have gone through. So it just goes back to that, like, how far can we take this?
You keep taking it day by day. Every
Yeah.
day, as you said, you're
Yeah.
just like, let's see how far we can take this. And I'm excited to continue to see how far you can take this because you've taken it really far in just a year and a half already. And I know that you're going to keep like pushing it forward. And I'm excited to see it continue to grow.
Thanks, Ainsley.
If anyone wants to go get their hands on Neeva,
Yeah.
where can they grab it?
So the easiest place is our website. It's just neevasnacks.com. We have two options. So we have a mini bundle, which is just 3 packs. The shipping is like $2. So it gives you a chance to just try it out, try some flavors. And then we also have a regular bundle, which is like 14 packs, but you get a free shaker. So you can choose which one you want. If you go on our Instagram right now, there's a link for that free pack promo that we talked about. It'll be done by the time that viewers listen to this. So maybe just DM me and we can figure something out. But those are the two options. The websites are the easiest. We're in some supplement stores like Popeyes in Ontario, but it's not in every one. So it really depends on where they're at. But the easiest thing would just be shoot us a DM. I still look at all the DMs and the email. So you'll be chatting with me.
Perfect. Cool. People can go and try it. I tried this. I loved it. I remember when you first sent it to me, I was like, let me like try this out. And I love cereal. Everyone loves cereal. You love your
Yes.
protein powder. And I like same thing. I was like, this is so simple. Like it's
So simple.
delicious.
I
Yeah.
still have 2 a day and I've been eating it
Yeah.
for 2 years and I still have 2 a day. And like that to me is like, this product might do something because if the dude who's been making it for 2 years is still eating it. And keep in mind, it's not free for me. Like I eat costs. So like I'm paying for this and I still eat it twice a day. It's really good. I recommend you try it. PB, Cookie, Puffs, and Lucky are the best sellers. Go try it out. It's pretty fun.
Awesome. Sandrew, thanks so much for sharing. Everyone go try some Neeva. Definitely a great product out there and great way to get some fun and your protein while you're at it.
Thanks, Ainsley.
Thanks.